Hello everyone, I am Aristatle Subramaniam, a lead data engineer at BigCommerce. Today I am thrilled to share my TechWomen experience and introduce you to two emerging leaders I met through this program. Just to give you a background about TechWomen, it's a professional exchange program organized by the US Department of Educational and Cultural Affairs that empowers emerging women leaders in the field of STEM from Africa, Central Asia, and the Middle East. My experience with the tech woman has been truly rewarding. I have been mentoring for the past 6 years with a specific focus on data, AI, and ML. Despite the challenges faced by these women, their success stories were amazing, and dedication of supporting other women was admirable. With that, now it's time to introduce two inspiring women. Henrica Makulu from Zimbabwe and Ayesha Mumtaz Khan from Pakistan.
Hi, everyone. I am Henrica Makulu from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. I was part of the Tech Women program in 2022, and I am known as my country's first female data scientist.
I'm Aisha Mumtaz Khan, and to be honest, I was never meant to be in technology, but now I happen to be in technology. I am in UK working as IT project manager with Angel Solutions.
Why did you choose a tech for your career?
I didn't choose tech chose me. I had no intentions to work in the technology space. And so, what happened after I graduated from university is I found the job I could find around me, and that was in administration. So I used to work in filing. We used to keep files for smallholder farmers who we used to give loans to. And I worked there for 5 years, but I then grew unfulfilled and I knew I could do something more challenging with my career. A friend of mine mentioned the field of data science and data analytics, and I looked it up. I started learning a few things on my own online. I started revamping my resume, and I eventually put myself on an online portal and applied for a job. Long story short, I'm now in tech and I absolutely love it.
To be honest, I was struggling to find a job in social science back home when I graduated. I realized that I need to work on my skills development. I was always intrigued by technology and how it can make lives better. So I ventured into tech and I had not really planned this transition, this move. I happened to work as a project coordinator on a digitization project with Kinnaid College. And from there, I got the opportunity to work in the project management office of Spurdian Technologies. We basically launched the case flow, Lahore High Court case flow management system, which was the first of its kind project in Pakistan, digital litigation system in the country. Then after that, I got inspired, and me, along with my other partners, we were four co-founders, and we launched a mobile application called Hop Orbits, which we ran for about 3 4 years. And right now, I am in tech.
Discuss any particular challenges you have faced in your career.
Not having a technical background. Transitioning from social science into tech, it can be a bit overwhelming in the beginning because there are so many things like the terminologies and understanding everything, the work culture and ethic. That was the challenging bit. But then that challenge is also my strength because the perspective that social science gives me is different from someone who is completely, technical. So my challenges came more from not having a computer science background, but I don't really regret it because of the perspective that I currently have.
Two particularly come to mind. The first one I've alluded to before, which is a lack of mentorship. I really didn't have someone to help me pave the path and say, this is how you actually get into a tech career. So I had a lack of mentorship. The second one was actually self imposed, and that's a lack of confidence in myself. So I always felt like an imposter, and I always felt I don't deserve to be here, and this is a mistake. And so that really hampered a lot of progress. But I think I'm working on it now and learning how to deal with that.
Nice. Why did you enroll in the Tech Woman program?
I first heard of the Tech Women program in 2012 when a family friend sent me the application. I had done a mathematics degree, so I guess they thought I'm a STEM person and this program would suit me. In my application, I had nothing much to write. I had just graduated, I didn't have much experience. And so, as expected, I didn't get in. I applied three times after that. And long story short, I eventually got in on my fourth or fifth attempt in 2022. And for me, the motivation really was the experience of visiting Silicon Valley and seeing how the first world does tech and even just the cultural experience of it all. Secondly, I wanted to benchmark myself against global professionals to see how I compare with them.
My friends, they were continuously bothering me to apply for this program, and I thought that because I don't have a computer science background and I'm not that technical enough, then I don't deserve to apply for it. So the first time I completely ignored it, and as soon as the deadline was getting nearer, my friends, they started following me up, and they said that you are founder of a tech platform, you have a mobile application and it's doing great, you should apply for it. At least don't say no to yourself. So then that kind of gave me the confidence to apply for it.
Perfect.
I then wanted to engage and learn from the best. Plus, I then wanted to challenge myself because it's a competitive program and only 3% of the applications get accepted. Thousands of applications are received every year and only a little over 100 are accepted.
When you learned your mentorship would be with the BigCommerce, what were your expectations?
My first choice was BigCommerce because at that time I had Hobovitz and I was trying to absorb as much information and trying to find mentors in the field who could guide me. My expectations were to learn how pure tech companies worked, how they managed their teams, what were their team building activities and the culture. I wanted to understand all of this for my own and my team's learning just so I could understand if the problems we were solving were relevant, and also to know more about big commerce journey, how it started, how it scaled.
Quite frankly, I was disappointed when I learned I'd be going to big commerce simply because I didn't know big commerce. I had hoped for the big name brands that I knew, like Microsoft and LinkedIn and so forth. However, that quickly changed as soon as I learned what BigCommerce does. So I Googled BigCommerce and saw that they do this amazing work for retailers. And so I started warming up to the idea. All I needed was to go to the BigCommerce offices in person, and my view totally changed. I ended up being so grateful that I was placed at BigCommerce.
Did we meet your expectations? How did we meet them?
When I was applying, one of the things I really wanted was a company that had approachable leadership. I had a passion and a desire to speak to a CEO or an executive of some sort and really just try and ask them certain questions and see how they think. And in that sense, Big Commerce absolutely met my expectations. We were able to have meetings with the CEO, the CFO, the CTO, all these great executives who we learned so much from. And in another sense, big commerce exceeded my expectations because I was able to learn things I wasn't expecting to learn. During my time there, I think I remember counting that I attended 50 meetings or so across different departments. So I really had a well rounded understanding of the different functions that exist within big commerce. And that definitely exceeded my expectations. It was great to see the on the ground people right through to the top and to interact with them and learn how they do their job.
I believe that I had a great experience because I learned a lot. There was a lot of team engagement and learning. We had sessions with all the teams, especially the session with project management office where they showed us how the teams are divided into pods and every pod has a PM. I got to experience the culture by being part of social evenings and waffle Wednesdays. So overall, I think my experience was great. I still cherish it today.
Wow. What was your biggest learning during your mentorship at BigCommerce?
I think my biggest learning was that a company is built by the people, and the people form the culture, and they are the ones who uphold and promote that culture further. So, in essence, we need to be people focused, and when building teams or collaborating, whether it's within our workspace or whether we are engaging with our clients, we need to be people centric.
Similar to Aisha, I think my takeaway was can be summed up from a discussion we had with the CFO. When I asked him a question, I was focusing on how does he deal with the numbers at such a huge level. And his answer was numbers can be there, but what drives an organization is people. And I think that was the biggest learning that I had during my time at BigCommerce, that people really are the driver of any organization, and you have to be people centric. As long as the people are taken care of, the work will take care of itself.
What is your favorite moment from your mentorship? Why is it your favorite?
I absolutely remember and love how my two mentors took care of us. My mentor Meg would always take us out to eat cool food like Mexican food, which is really delicious. And Aristotle bought me some chocolates, which I really enjoyed. And I heard that was the best chocolate in San Francisco. So I had the opportunity to taste that. The third thing was visiting the big commerce offices. I really liked how they had a space for recreation where you could play games when you're tired. And just the look and feel of the office was a highlight for me.
My favorite moment was around the farewells that I received from my mentors and the assurity from their end that we will still continue to be connected, and that if I ever need help, they are there to guide me. So that sense of belonging that they created during the farewell time was one of my favorite moments. Also, the Indian food that Aristotle brought in, dosas, during the farewell, it made me feel really connected to you and also connect with big commerce at a more human level.
Can you share any notable community or country contributions?
And during the TechWomen program, we also pitched for a project called Bachao. The aim was to raise awareness on child sexual abuse in the country. So we were able to win $3,000 grant, and we consider it to be an achievement that we completed the project. We carried out awareness sessions. Although it was the COVID, we had to pivot our idea and bring the awareness online. So that is one of the contributions that I'm really proud of, that I was a part of that project and we helped launched it. Plus, we launched, like me and my co-founders, we launched our mobile application Hop Orbits, and we did over 5,000 orders in the second month. So I learned a lot from that experience as well, and do consider it as a contribution towards the community at that time, because we were able to digitize a complete neighborhood and we had a positive progressive proof of concept.
One was winning the award for the best country team. Several countries won, and my country, Zimbabwe, was one of them during my time with Tech Women in 2022. And so our team won a grant to come back home and implement an aquaponics project where we built a system in an orphanage to help the children farm in a sustainable way. Another highlight is ever since coming back from the Tech Women program, I've received a lot of recognition. I've come out, or I've been featured in a local newspaper. I received a mentorship award in 2022. So the Tech Women program really brought a lot of accolades my way.
Now, what is one takeaway you had from your mentorship that may surprise people?
When you think of going to Silicon Valley and you're from a third world country like my own, you sort of expect that we are way behind. And yet, for me, I was able to identify some things that we actually implement in my country, or things that we implemented at the company where I was working at the time. And so it was really encouraging to see that we're not too far behind from where Silicon Valley is in terms of operating a technology company.
First of all, not many people know about the Tech Women program in my country. And I think even globally, the program is a bit under advertised. So it might surprise them that how intensive and how good the program is. So this is one thing that I think people really don't know about the program, that it's filled with valuable content, experiences, training, network, and collaborations.
How did your experience at BigCommerce change your career?
This program really increased me in confidence. It really helped me better my personal brand. I was able to build a network. I am now connected with you all, and the sort of confidence that this gives is, I don't think anyone can realize it unless they've gone through the program. That sense of safety, bonding, and assurity that I have a community to rely on if I am faced with a challenge.
I remember coming back to the company where I worked and saying, I need to meet with the CEO one on one because I had gained confidence from meeting the BigCommerce CEO. So I felt he was approachable. And so surely I can approach my own CEO. And I remember sitting in a room with him and having these ideas saying, I've come back from this mentorship program and this is what BigCommerce does. And I'd like to copy some of the ideas that they have and contextualize them to our company. So, for example, I remember seeing that BigCommerce has hackathons internally where staff members can compete in solving an existing challenge within the business. And that's something I actually then suggested to our CEO back home. So I gained a lot of confidence and I learned that great leaders and executives are just people and they're so approachable if you just are daring enough to have a conversation with them.
In your opinion, what are some of the most important skills for success?
It's very important to let your work speak for itself. So, to make sure if you are a project manager or if you are a data scientist, the actual technical requirement is in a sense flawless. So the technical skills are really important. And I guess that depends on what domain you are in. In my domain, in the data world, it would be proficiency in at least one programming language. So either Python or R, for example, a visualization tool. So Power BI or Tableau or ClickSense. So just knowing those tools, picking one and being very good at it. And then the second layer is also having the ability to communicate because you can, it's well and good to have your technical skills in order, but if you are not able to get buy-in or if you are not able to communicate the impact, then it's almost useless. So I think communication skills are also very important in tech.
It is very important to be tech savvy, having the mindset to work independently, to find answers yourself, and not be afraid of asking for help when you need help, when you're not able to find the answers. And also being people centric, deploying empathy by being more user centric.
Can you discuss any notable instances in which you had to take a risk or step outside of your comfort zone?
I've taken multiple risks during my career, like transitioning from social science to technology and then leaving a corporate job by launching my own mobile application. Then the last risk that I've taken is to transition from my home country into another completely new country, UK, and starting from scratch over here, doing my second master's in project management, focusing my thesis on agile methodologies. So these are the risks that I've taken, and to be honest, I don't regret them. Yes, it's overwhelming sometimes, but I have grown as a person.
I love that. One risk I took is I saw a LinkedIn advert that was looking for speakers to speak on the subject of data. And it was this big data conference that was regional. So, not just in my country, but in my continent. And one of my goals was to become a global speaker. And so I thought I could push myself by not just getting speaking engagements in my country, but actually signing up for this regional one. And so I reached out to the person and I said, I'm willing to be a speaker. And as soon as I did, I thought, oh gosh, what have I just gotten myself into? What am I even going to say? Because the conference was particularly tailored for executives and leaders in the data space. And I thought, I'm not really a leader yet. I'm just starting in the field. So, what am I going to tell all these CEOs and CTOs and CDOs? And so I challenged myself to just go with it. And one of the tools I used was I realized in the audience there would be some people who had never been to Silicon Valley. And I started by sharing that I've been to Silicon Valley and I've rubbed shoulders with some CEOs from there. And I learned some lessons. If you want to know what these lessons are, keep listening.
Great.
And so I had this room of leaders just glued into what I was saying because I had a lot to say about my experience in Silicon Valley, and that worked in my favor.
What advice do you have for women who are interested in pursuing careers in technology?
Two words of advice. The first is I love a quote that says, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out. So it takes consistency and it doesn't have to be big chunks of time. It can be if you're trying to learn a new skill technically, put aside 5 minutes every day or 5 minutes a week, even. And doing that consistently, week in, week out, will then culminate in you having the skill that you now have. So success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out. The second thing I would say is find someone who is walking the journey that you would like to walk and try and see what you can learn from them. This can either be in person or even virtual. I've been able to learn from people who I've never met simply by following them on LinkedIn, seeing what they read, seeing what they say, and trying to emulate that.
To not be afraid, to be very clear of the pathway that they want to choose. Also, to not be afraid of making mistakes, because the work industry that we are in today, we need to make mistakes fast and learn from those mistakes quickly, because mistakes, failures, they are not a bad thing, they are lessons learned. So maybe identify their path. If they're not able to identify any path, then just try multiple things and make mistakes quickly and learn from them, because those mistakes will give them feedback and direct them towards the right path.
I would like to take this opportunity to shout out to TechWomen committee team because the amount of time and the energy they put into planning, organizing, connecting, and executing this program with volunteering mentors is truly impressive. I'm also grateful to Linda from the TechWomen committee and her team, my co-mentor Meg Disco, and my leader Mahendra Kumar and BigCommerce for giving me this opportunity to contribute to such a worthy cause.
Thank you so much, Aristotle. Thanks to the Big Commerce team and the Tech Women team. This has been amazing just getting to share my story and hearing Aisha's story as well. Really grateful for the opportunity.
I would like to thank both of my mentors, Aristotle and Meg Desco, for having such a positive impact on my professional career. So, thank you for that. This sense of belonging, this sense of connectedness means a lot to me.